All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The news has gone from bad to worse for Texas Rangers starting pitcher Jacob deGrom, as after being moved to the 60-day injured list yesterday, deGrom's 2023 season is officially in the books as he has a UCL tear, which is more than likely going to lead to him having Tommy John surgery. deGrom has not pitched for the Rangers since April 28th when he left his start against the New York Yankees with forearm tightness. Over deGrom's final 3 years with the New York Mets before he left this offseason to sign with the Rangers, he was only able to make a combined 38 starts, but that did not deter Texas from giving the two-time National League Cy Young Award winner a 5-year deal for 185 million with a 6-year option. The Rangers were desperate to improve their pitching rotation over the off season while also getting their hands on a frontline starter. And DeGrom checked all of those boxes when healthy. But now the Rangers are seeing firsthand what the Mets have known for the past several years, that simply he cannot be in DeGrom, stay healthy. It's going to be a long road back for DeGrom if Tommy John is the solution for him. But at the end of the day, more than likely, this has to get done. Now, so far this season, the Rangers have exceeded their expectations coming into this year as they're currently in first place in the American League West, but they've also been one of the better teams in baseball. And as the Rangers are more than likely in line to be buyers at the trade deadline this summer, will they be in line to get another starting pitcher now? Because we all know that come October, you cannot have enough quality pitching as you're trying to win a World Series. Now, long term, the Rangers are definitely going to approach DeGrom with the kid gloves due to the fact that they have so much invested in him financially. But like I said last night when I talked about DeGrom, he's going to have to change his approach on the mound as you simply cannot try to throw 100 miles per hour on every pitch. And honestly, it's caught up to him. And like I said last night as well, the Mets dodged a bullet here on this one. There were some people that questioned the Mets for not being willing to match on the years that Texas offered DeGrom in order to retain him, because we all know that money was not going to be the issue because the Mets offered DeGrom about $40 million a year. But as far as these years go, now you see why they weren't going to match the Texas Rangers offer on the 5 years. It's also a telling sign when a big market team that has deep pockets like the Mets do, they don't go out there and retain someone of the caliber of deGrom. In my opinion, this should have been a red flag for the Rangers, but instead they went full speed ahead in their pursuit of deGrom. And guess what? Now they're stuck with him. At the end of the day, you cannot give long-term deals to starting pitchers in their mid 30s and older. And this should be a lesson for all 30 teams around Major League Baseball. So you look at this, obviously DeGrom is done for this season. So that's in the books. Possibly, maybe he's ready for spring training next year if you're Texas. He's going to be 35 at that point. He turns 35 on the 19th of this month. So you're talking about a guy that probably when he gets his sea legs back under him, if you will, we're talking about a guy who's 36 years of age. Can you expect Jacob deGrom to be the Jacob deGrom that we saw 5 years ago when he had that lights out year? Remember, you go back to 2018, deGrom was 10-9. Uh, Obviously, the Mets didn't score a lot of runs for him, but he had a 1.70 earned run average in 32 starts. He struck out 269 batters en route to winning the Cy Young Award. Came back and got the Cy Young Award again in 2019. And then he made a case in the short in 2020 season, excuse me, to get the Cy Young Award once again, but that did not happen. And of course, since then, the injury bug has really caught up to him. Like I said last night, deGrom's got to bring it down, maybe 92 or 93, learn how to locate more, mix his pitches. Because even then, if you follow the history of baseball, you're not going to have a whole bunch of flamethrowers out there. Everybody's not going to be a Roger Clemens. Everybody's not going to be a Nolan Ryan. Guys, as they got older, they typically learned how to become junk pitchers, mix speeds, and every now and then, they would dial it up. Randy Johnson did it. Pedro Martinez did it. CC Sabathia and so many other great pitchers over the years have learned to do this. And then on top of this, this is a microcosm of this era of baseball, and you're seeing more guys who have needed the Tommy John, because this is deGrom's second time with the Tommy John surgery. And a lot of it is, like I've said before, everybody is not meant to go out there and throw 100 miles an hour. But, this two seam fastball is ruling things right now on the MLB circuit, if you will. On top of that, pitchers are married to the pitch counts, and I think it's so doggone ridiculous. Don't even get me started on that. But nonetheless, deGrom is going to have to switch things up on the mound. He's got to be a different pitcher. Maybe the Rangers look for him to be a bullpen guy. We don't know. I don't think they're going to go the bullpen route, though, just due to the fact of all of the money that they've had invested in him. But nonetheless, even when he comes back from Tommy John, I'm not sure if Jacob deGrom is going to be the Jacob deGrom that we've been known to see and understand and appreciate. The deck is going to be stacked against him, because we're talking about a guy, more than likely when he comes back, is going to be 36 years of age. And at the end of the day, I really do feel the Jacob deGrom's best years are in front or behind him, rather. I mean, you have older pitchers out there who are still pitching quality baseball, such as a Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, and a Max Scherzer. I will say this about those three: unlike deGrom, they came in a little bit earlier to the big leagues than deGrom did. And with that said, they were still pitchers. And this is when they were allowed to be pitchers. So you look at a guy like Justin Verlander, even at this advanced stage of his career, he can still go out there and throw 125 pitches. The same thing could be said for Max Scherzer if needed. And, Clayton Kershaw as well, even though I really feel the Dodgers, approach him as well as their entire pitching staff with the kid gloves. Again, that's a whole nother story for another day. But nonetheless, these guys know how to pitch. And it's one thing if you follow Justin Verlander, he knows how to mix up pitches. Everything's not going to be 97 or 98. Same thing could be said for Scherzer. Same thing could be said for Kershaw. And Kershaw, of course, even now at this advanced stage of his career, relies on that changeup and that curveball more than ever. And of course, he's a lefty, but then he just still has great movement on those secondary pitches. And that is what has allowed him to remain in baseball as long as he has. And that is what is going to open the doors for him to Cooperstown 5 years when his career is done. And the same thing could be said for both Scherzer and Verlander, as they're Cooperstown bound as well. But nonetheless, it's time for deGrom to reinvent the game for himself. Again, for the Rangers, this was a gamble. This was a huge risk for them, and I thought it was that way from the beginning. Anybody who's followed deGrom knew it was only a matter of time. You knew you expected him to be out, but you didn't expect it to be this. But this is what he is going to be for the remainder of his career. With most pitchers, you're expected to see them make at least 30 starts per season. But in the case of deGrom, if you can get 20 starts out of him per season, consider yourself extremely lucky. So he's flirted with this for a while. Now Tommy John looks like it's going to be on the horizon, unfortunately for deGrom. For his sake and the sake of the Rangers, you just hope that he can bounce back and recover and once again go out there and be able to contribute. But like I said before, the odds are stacked against him. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.